Good morning on this beautiful Wednesday here in Orlando, Orange County, east side of the county. Live here in Results 1, currently at Lake Underhill in Econolanahachee. How about this? Econolanahachee. There we go. Or Econ. All right, we are headed to Station 81 here with the Orange County Fire Rescue. We're going to be talking with an individual, and it's not just about firefighting. It is about his amazing career to show that you could choose a life of service at any point to join the team. And I mean the fire department team, the police department. This individual, his name's Marlon, had a career in being a football player, but his path always brought him right back to the men and women in the service. And it is pretty amazing that I'm going to get to chat with him here today and talk about that. So we're rolling up here to Station 81, and we're going to chat with Marlon here in just a second. I'm going to get turned around. Firefighters looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm a little crazy, right? So 1 second here, we'll pull up and see if Marlon's here. I'm picking up Marlon.
Right over here, somewhere.
All right.
He's here somewhere. I'm not sure where he's at.
Somewhere. Yeah, I'm picking him up.
Okay.
They got the crew out there cleaning up. Squad 4, Engine 81, and Rescue 81. All right, I got one if you need it, but you can grab your own.
All right, yeah, I got it.
All right. See the crew out here cleaning up, doing their thing. It's part of the pride. It's part of the camaraderie out here, hanging out and cleaning the equipment that you're going to serve the community with. And they're out here almost every day doing something like that. So 2 seconds and I will be right back in the truck. How you doing, Carl? You just jump in the passenger seat.
How do Gibson give me one of these?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. All right, joining us in the truck right now, Mr. Marlon is here. Sir, welcome to Results 1.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
So I'll give you the quick little rundown of the land here. So we are currently live streaming clickorlando.com, our News 6 app, and News 6 Plus. It's an app that you can do like YouTube on your smart TV.
Nice.
And we're one of the only local news organizations that you can just content and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
I saw some videos already.
Nice. So you kind of know what you're walking into. So this is Results 1. It is my streaming platform to where we get to dive into the community about things that people may never ever hear about.
Right.
I got your bio and I was like, you're killing it right now.
I've been blessed. That's all.
Absolutely been blessed. And so this is an opportunity for us to get out and about in the community. It's all viewer directed. So if someone has a complaint or gripe, I'm a former full-time state trooper, now part-time trooper gone news guy, and I get to dive into the communities and talk a little bit perspective that a normal news person would never understand.
For sure.
I think I'm more closer to firefighters being a trooper because sharing the scenes with you guys and stuff like that. So we're going to take a little cruise. I told your PIO that I'd have you back in about 15-20 minutes or so.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and I've got the order of questions that we'll go in here in a little bit.
So. Okay. So I guess we'll start from the beginning, I guess, right? So Marlon Moye-Moore.
Moye-Moore?
Moye-Moore, correct.
Moye-Moore.
Yeah.
Fancy.
I got my mom and my dad's last name.
Okay.
It was great growing up with my parents because they had me when they were 16 and 17.
Wow.
So I literally got to see their whole life evolve to what they are now.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Maryland originally.
So that's why you went to University of Maryland?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I lived like 15 minutes away. And I would go home all the time. I was, all my friends were there. It was great. My parents, everybody got to come to the games.
Did you always want to play football?
I thought I was a basketball player.
Okay.
I was tall at up until like the 6th grade.
Okay.
And then I started leveling out, and then I've been the same height since the 9th grade.
So how tall are you?
So I'm 6'2" now.
See, everyone's taller than me. I'm 5'8" on a good day. So when I saw you, I was reading the bio. I go, I'm glad I have a truck because I think this is going to be a big dude.
Yeah.
So you started playing football in Maryland. Obviously, basically what you're saying, you probably had an amazing supportive family.
Oh man, my family. I mean, I would go to when we played West Virginia. So I was born in a small town called Aliquippa. It's about 3,000 people. Home of Darrell Revis, Ty Law, Mike Ditka, Sean Gilbert, all these Hall of Famers, Tony Dorsett. So all these Hall of Famers are from this small steel mill town. And so West Virginia is roughly about 2 hours away. When we would play the Mountaineers, they would literally rent a charter bus. And I was telling my mom not too long ago, I was like, man, I wish I could have got a picture. I could look up there and see 2 rows of people with just like my t-shirts
and it was
on.
Just all your family?
All my family, yeah. They would
awesome.
Would literally come out and they would say, hey, whoever wants to go, it's $10 to get on the bus.
Done.
And and they just paid $10 and everybody chipped in.
That's really
everywhere
cool.
I went, everything I've done in life, my family has really supported me from, like I said, playing football. Anytime I get close to Pennsylvania or anywhere in that area, them coming to support me there. My graduation,
that's cool.
Mayor Demings was like, man,
wow,
like
he's like,
yo, you got a fan
driving
club
on the
out
wrong
here.
side of the road over here. I call out every bad driver. Sorry.
You should.
So you've got this fan base. You've got the motivation. It sounds like you also come from a pretty faith-based family.
Oh, for sure.
And I believe that is the direction for a lot of things in life.
I think that in life you have to be well balanced in life in general. I have a lieutenant here, who was my 3rd lieutenant, because when I got hired, so I came through the non-cert program. The non-certified program is a program that is a fully funded program.
Right. A lot of people don't know about that.
They don't know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So here's the crazy part. I'll even go into that. Right. So, I don't have any hair now, but I was getting my hair cut, and one of my friends called and was like, hey man, you still want to be a firefighter? This is how all of this non-cert started.
Okay, before you get there, because I want to bridge the gap.
Oh, okay.
I want to bridge
problem.
that there, because there was a lot of influence in, I think, your life before firefighting happened.
For sure.
That kind of paved that way for you.
100%.
So you left Maryland.
Yep, I left Maryland.
And you joined the Orlando Predators.
I joined Orlando Predators.
Tell me how that happened. Because I remember watching the Orlando Predators. I'm like, not to any other football player out there, I was like, this is real football.
Because
it's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough.
How tough it was.
So you joined the Orlando Predators. When did you join the Predators?
2004.
And how long did you play for them?
I played with them until 2014.
Wow. So 10 solid years.
10 years, yep.
Full time?
Full time. Well, not full time.
During the
towards
season.
the end. Yeah.
And during that time, you were also running a gym?
Yep.
So tell me a little bit of how that started.
So, one day, one of my friends does basketball camps.
Okay.
And she was like, hey, can you help me, with a camp? So I said, no problem, I'll come help her with a camp. And I was like, man, this is, like, it's good to be around the kids.
Right.
And I didn't realize how much of a
changes
influence.
You a little bit too.
For sure. I grew so much as a person, and I grew so much from teaching when I started getting around the kids. So I was around them, and she was like, hey, how about you do it like a football camp or something like that? So
I teach people the basics.
Correct. Yeah, okay. just basic skills camp.
Okay.
So I did a skills camp, and I had about 60 kids show up, which I was like, oh man, like I didn't realize.
Listen, some former University of Maryland player, former Orlando Predator player put it on a camp. If I had kids, I'd be like, you're going to that.
And it was literally like 2 weeks. But I never looked at myself like that. I just looked like, hey, I'm playing ball. I'm doing what I love to do. I'm getting paid to do it. So I had a couple parents at that time say, hey, do you like do any training? And I was like, no, I don't. They was like, well, you should.
Like, would you be willing to train?
Yeah.
They're probably
they were going with it. And then after a while, so and then Amy Nickel is the mom of Nick Westbrook of Kainai, who plays for the Titans.
Right.
So his mom was like, hey, listen, you should start getting this together. And then his dad did my website and did everything and did all of this. So were
they in public service?
They weren't at this time. So this is how I got into the gym.
The influence of it.
Yeah, so once I got into the gym aspect of it, that's when I started meeting all of these people.
So you're in the gym full time. So all these first responders are
coming
making
to
contact
the gym.
with you. And you're like, wait, I think I figured out the training side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me how you put together that CPAT.
So I didn't at that time. I had no idea what the CPAT was.
Okay.
So
because you weren't interested in becoming a firefighter.
I wasn't. I was just talking to firefighters, and they kept saying, "Hey, you'll be good." I'm like, "Nah, I run into 300-pound men all the time. I'm perfectly fine with running into a burning building." So so I had a couple ladies had called and was like, hey, I heard that you were great at sports training and you can do this. And so they brought me a CPAT packet, and I read over it. I was like, yeah, I can help you to do this.
This is easy.
Yeah. I was like, I could definitely help you to do this. So so I started training them. And the one girl had failed it like 6 times. Okay. We worked out
before
like a
you.
Month. Before me.
Okay.
Yeah. She's actually one of Shelby. She's a lieutenant in Seminole County now.
Awesome.
Awesome. So she comes in for about, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 12 sessions and crushes it.
That's awesome.
And
so
then
she passes.
She passes, and she told somebody else, and then she told somebody else, and now I got like this influx of like women who want to be firefighters who are coming in. Still not thinking about firefighting at this time. Okay. Not even a thing.
So you're just basically the trainer producing Orange County firefighters.
Well, they're all over the place.
Over,
there was no. I don't think it was any firefighters. Correct. So
then when did the moment happen to where a decision was made? How'd that happen? Like, because I saw that obviously if the firefighters are coming to you, there's a good chance that some of the command are in and out of there, whether they're a battalion chief, whatnot.
They were all coming to my gym.
Okay.
So I had all these firefighters in my gym who live in Seminole County, who work for Seminole County, some for Volusia. But Tim Martin, who's the division chief at Volusia County, was the biggest influence on me.
Okay. Tell me about that.
He was like, man, listen, he said, you will be a great firefighter. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. And so we kept talking, and it was maybe a year or so. He just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. He said, if you go get your classes, go get your fire and your EMT, we'll see about getting you a job. Okay. Well, this was me paying for myself.
Got it.
So the sponsorship happened at a whole different point.
Got it.
So the guy, so Tim tells me that. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So I go and put in my paperwork to go to Daytona State. Okay. So I'm getting everything together. The day that I was about to make the payment, that's when one of my buddies called and was like, hey, are you still interested in being a firefighter? And I was like, yeah. He was like, okay, you need to call Chief Washington. So he gives me his number. I call Chief Washington. Chief Washington gives me Chief Phillips' number. Yep. Chief Phillips was Lieutenant Phillips at that time, who was the recruiting coordinator. Okay. Who is now.
So you're working your way from the top down to the right person.
Right, to the right person. So, so Chief Phillips then starts talking to me, say, I want you to fill out this interest form. And once you fill out this interest form, call me. So I filled it out, called him. He said, hey, we have this thing. We have mentoring. We train people Tuesdays and Thursdays to pass the CPAT.
Sounds like they wanted you.
Yeah, so, and then when he said that, I'm like, oh, I can pass the CPAT. I've been training people to pass this for like 2 years now. Right. So I go and take the CPAT that Saturday, And
this is all happening.
This all happened within like a 2-week span. Not even 2 weeks, maybe like 10 days.
That's unheard of when it comes to like public service recruitment.
It was the timing. It was the timing happened because the non-certified program was open at that time.
And I just think
it
it's
just
crazy
happened that way.
Because you were getting ready to pay, and for those that
Correct.
don't know, that could run anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000.
Yeah. Well, it was like $8,000 to go there.
Okay, $8,000 plus
8,000.
equipment and books and then food, and you're not getting paid during that.
No, I'm not getting paid at all.
Because you're technically sponsoring yourself.
Correct. Correct.
Which is crazy. So then you're about to do that. A buddy calls you. The stars are aligning.
Yeah.
And you're now 37 at the time.
37, yeah.
About to become a firefighter, paid while you're going.
Yep.
And that is just, I think you're kind of like, I would say almost a role model of anything is possible.
100%. I talk to a lot of kids and just talk about, my life and how things have just worked out. That you can do, anybody can do anything. I have no excuses at all about anything. If something doesn't happen my way, I figure out what could I have done to make it work.
At some point, you made a decision for it to not work. So how can I fix that?
Exactly.
Without blaming anyone else.
Yeah, because the victim is definitely not. I shouldn't say that, but I don't want to put.
I hear you. It makes sense.
Yeah, putting blame on anyone else. That was one of the things that my dad, when I moved from Pennsylvania to Maryland, I moved with my dad.
Okay.
So. That he instilled in me that I would get in trouble in school or whatever. He would say, "What'd you do?" And I say, "Well, Johnny was talking." He said, "I didn't ask what Johnny did." I said, "What did you do?"
Right.
"Well, I pushed Johnny." He said, "Okay, now you've admitted that you did something. Now let's work backwards and figure out
how can we fix that
and not let it happen again."
Love it.
So, that was the biggest thing I can take away from him to give to other people.
I like that.
Is figure out where your fault was in it first, and then look at the situation. 90% of the time, you'll look at that situation differently. Because you say, if I reacted differently, and I get it, we're emotional people, and things happen, but, we
have options, and we should. I always preach the pause mentality.
I like that.
A lot of people think I'm crazy because I've been in, a lot of you've been in high stressful situations, things that most people would look at as a life-changing event, and they never take the opportunity just for a brief pause to just think.
For sure.
And get your stuff together so you're able to react properly. So many people are just instantly reactive.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's helped me in the news world when it comes to live TV, knowing that I can't take anything back, and I'll take that pause and then do what I got to do. And I think that can work in so many other avenues of life and stuff like that. So now that I want a little fun part about it. Okay, so you were training people for this exam.
Correct.
You basically have met the physical requirements for any firefighter kind of test. Tell me how the academy was for you. Was it kind of...
It was challenging.
Was it a shock to you? You thought, I got this, and the next thing it's like, whoa.
Yeah, I will... so mentoring was the first part of it, and that's what I say. So we train people. I'm a peer fitness trainer, so on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's free of charge to anybody whoever who wants to become a firefighter.
Okay.
We train them to pass the CPAT. We give them interviewing skills. We teach them about the fire team test, which is our cognitive test you got to take to come in.
Okay.
So my first day at mentoring, I'm like, I'm going to work with these firefighters. I'm gonna crush this workout. By the end of the workout, I could not do one push-up.
So why though? Was it
because
just not what you were expecting?
Yeah, it was so
different,
intense.
Okay.
Yeah, the workout. So I'm 240 pounds, right?
No,
Ex-football player.
Nothing,
So I'm used to throwing weight up. Short sprints, short bursts. Man, we went in there and they was like, all right, everybody on the yellow line, we're gonna do a warm up. We warmed up for about 20 minutes of jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, planks, mountain climbers, lunges.
And you're like, this is the warm-up?
Yeah, this is the warm-up. So I'm drenched at the warm-up. So it's like, okay, all right, everybody outside to the bay doors, 8 laps. 8 laps is 1.5 miles.
After all that.
After all that. So we do the 1.5 miles, and then we come back, and they're like, okay, back on the yellow line, and we're only at, 35 minutes into it, 40 minutes into it, and then we got to work out for an hour.
So how many were in that group?
That group, our mentoring used to have about 60 people in the mentoring. So it was just so intense, and we didn't lift anything but our body weight.
Sounds like
it is
kind of thing.
Yeah, firefighters, paramilitary,
absolutely.
Same thing, police force.
Yep.
It's paramilitary. So that got me ready for. And the peer fitness trainers, man, I love Orange County's peer fitness program. That made me want to be a peer fitness trainer. That from being in it and going through the mentoring. So now I do that for people. So now we get to standards in the fire academy. That physical aspect of it is pretty easy.
Okay.
But there's so much more tactical things you do because me in shorts and running shoes and a t-shirt, ready to go. You put on 80 pounds of gear that doesn't breathe at all.
Now,
it's the great equalizer.
Big time. Because your body's like, well, hold on.
Exactly.
I've been training this way, and now you're putting me in this shell and want me to do the same exercises.
Exactly. So
what gets you through this stuff? How... military guy, I was in the Air Force, and I remember a drill instructor pain as weakness leaving the body.
There you go.
And how do you, if someone, a youth member, you focus a lot on youth, and you have so many check marks, I think, next to your resume that kind of build a life of service. Even if you were serving while playing football, your focus was youth. Someone looks at this and they're looking at it on paper going, man, I want to do that, but gosh, that is so hard. That is so difficult. What was your, other than knowing it was all up to you and your decisions, what would you say to someone who's 16, 17, or 30 years old that's like, man, I've always wanted to do this. What are they waiting for? Like, what would you offer as advice to someone out there? Because, man, you don't hear it often. It's always a very unique situation for a professional athlete that goes into public service. And they do it because they want to. And the stories are always amazing. Obviously, an NFL player makes a lot more than a public service person.
For sure.
And it's like, you're not getting into this business to get rich.
No.
Talk to me a little bit about the motivation someone should want to find.
So, in this field, in my opinion, if you're going to be a firefighter, you have to serve your community. When I go on calls, especially when I see kids, because I have young kids.
Okay.
That what if another firefighter ran on my children and I wasn't there? I live in the Popka, so if a Popka ran on my children, so I treat them like I would treat my family. So when I go on these calls, whether it be fire, whether it be an EMS call, I'm serving the community to give them the best product that I can give them, which is why I train as hard as I do from a physical aspect. So if we have a fire or we have some fire-related activity, then I'm not tired, and I'm making sure this is the worst day of their life. Right.
Or
one of the worst days. Correct. And so I want to make sure that I can preserve as much as possible, post fire or even during fire. If we can get in and we see a wall full of pictures and fires coming down, we'll try to get those pictures down, hand them off to somebody, and get them back to the family. Because
I think that
that's
speaks
all
a lot
have.
about the mentality that it's not a robot firefighter coming in to help you. It's not just some drone program. We're people.
For sure.
And you've got pictures on your house that you would hope. And I'm sure that special moment, you're not even thinking that firefighter's thinking that.
No.
But you get outside, they saved you, and they're handing you a photo after your house is burnt. And you get me choked
makes
up.
It makes the day better.
Yeah.
You got some, it's happened before, and we've had people who, you just see tears coming down. Thank you so much. But I got to go back.
Right, hey, here's your photo, but I got to go get your dog.
I got to go, you speaking of that, and this is just a side story. My first fire I ever had, I hear on the radio, hey, engine, I was on 71 then, and they said that there's 7 cats in the house. so I can't see in front of my face right now.
Wow.
And so, I'm trying to find the fire. I see smoke everywhere. And so finally get it, and once I get it knocked down on the fire, I was telling my buddy, hey, let's search around and see if you can find
these cats.
Yeah, so, and we were finding people, I didn't find because I was on the nozzle. We're finding cats, but, and I know that's a kind of a typical story, but think about that.
But you don't
think
have
about
to,
if it's your
and I
house.
think that's a lot of people forget about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Your goal is human life.
For sure.
First.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back in there. Kind of thing, but yet you guys do that.
Yeah.
I'm an animal lover, so whenever I hear stuff like that, I think it shows the empathy, the compassion,
for sure,
that you're affected by this stuff just as much as the people out there. So how long have you been with Orange County so far?
So I've been with Orange County 6 years.
6 years.
Yep,
What's next? What's next for you, man?
In the fire service?
Yeah.
So right now,
you're gonna promote. You're looking for a new position.
I'm what I call I'm a knuckle dragger. I'm a knuckle dragger who can think.
Got it. I like those.
I like to work. I'm a worker bee. So right now, I'm finishing up the squad academy. So I got testing in the next 2 weeks, this is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, because it's not just physical. There's so much information I have to learn.
Right.
So it's nonstop with that part. So with that, that's what's in front of me right now. Then after that, I want to go and try to get into the truck program.
All right. What do you got going on outside of the fire service? Are you still have your gym?
I sold the gym about 4 years ago, right before the pandemic. I sold the gym. So I haven't been training people outside, but when I became a peer fitness trainer, I took all that time to train the people in the fire service.
Right.
So what we do is we train the incoming firefighters. We train people who want to be firefighters, and then let's say, for example, Chief Reed, who was a chief that lost over 200 pounds. He got with the peer fitness trainers.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he started coming. But he put himself through it. He said every day he put himself in there and said, "Give me somebody," and whoever was there, that's who he worked with, and he busted his butt and made it happen. So all of the training comes from that aspect. So everything is inside, and then recruiting.
It's got to be awesome though for you though to have gone through it, wanting to be around the people, and then now you're embedded, and your leaders are stepping up to change their lives. There's got to be a huge mutual respect kind of thing that
100%.
happens in the fire department like that.
100%.
I just think I only can speak from a law enforcement stance, and we don't have that time that gets allocated. You guys get assigned to your station, and you got no option. You have to be there. 24-hour shifts. It's a different world outside the law enforcement side, and it's like you guys are truly embedded amongst each other.
Oh yeah. That third of our life.
Your family, right? A third of your life.
A third of our life. I'm with those other 12 guys at the station.
It's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing, man. I really appreciate you hopping in here with me today.
No, I appreciate you.
We get to talk about different things, and this is the kind of stuff we like to highlight just because I don't think anyone would get to hear your story. I know the Sentinel did a nice cover, nice piece on you.
Yeah, they did.
We're going to make sure that Central Florida knows we've got really good people.
That's it. Speaking of that Sentinel article, it's crazy these kids that I'm around that now that I'm getting older, I don't recognize. I didn't realize who I was dealing with. Right. The kid in that picture is Brendan Rodgers, who's the third pick in the MLB draft.
Whoa.
So
amazing.
So that team, we had 4 guys go to the NFL or MLB.
Crazy.
On that one football team. So
man. Well, sir, I appreciate you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you. You be safe.
Yes,
I am going to hop out with you here in a second, talk with your PIO with you. I just have to go from doing this great stream with him to transferring over to the 9 a.m. show. You guys make sure you check this out over at clickorlando.com. We appreciate you joining us here today, and we will have plenty more coverage on amazing stuff the Orange County Fire Department is doing throughout, of course, the year. See you guys soon. Love y'all. Be safe.